sisters. Oh my goodness, I missed you so much. I can't believe I skipped yesterday making a video. How is the lighting? How's the set? How's my hair? How are you guys? I know I don't see anybody in here yet, so I don't know if my sound is working, if anything is working. I know my laptop's not working, thus I still have the cell phone. I'm just, I'm getting used to it, but that was one reason why I didn't do a live yesterday, was because I was fully expecting to get the computer back last night. Didn't happen. Okay, Bex. Oh, I'm so happy to see you here. I almost froze up in, my frozen shock phase. No laptop yet. I know it's literally been over a month. I think yesterday was 1 month. And so I wrote a scathing email to the manager and they said, it's almost ready. Duh. I said, give me my freaking money back or a replacement now, please and thank you. So we'll see. I'll probably go in there tonight and, burn the place down. Yeah, that's what I'll do. And now it's all documented on YouTube. Oh no, delete. Okay, let's get serious. You sound great. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. Thank you for letting me know. CB, I'm here. Hello. And Sandra Lankford says, hi, Jazz. Shelly. Is it Shelly or Sherry? It's Sherry. Hey, people. So, you know what? I cleaned my glasses twice. I'm going to clean them a third time in front of you guys because I'm not giving up on this. I almost turned the screen sideways so that I would have the laptop shape. And then I just thought, I won't be able to keep up with your chat at all. I'll lose each sentence. Or it's I think it's one line at a time that just flies by. So, it would barely even be worth trying to read it. And, I at least want to try to read what you guys are saying, because otherwise, why come on live, I guess. I mean, I guess you could figure out a logic to it. But yeah, it would make more sense to me to just do a pre-recorded. And so much of what I enjoy about this YouTube channel of mine, thank you for being here, is you guys. I mean, I know you hear it from a lot of us mushy content creators, how much we love our viewers, but it is the truth. So let me see if I can help the glare a little bit without knocking everything down. I'm not even kidding you. It's like you move one thing and you get the domino effect. Is it a little dark or is it just me? It seems like it's a little dark, but I'm not gonna knock stuff down. And if I do, I won't give up, I promise you. I mean, I hope that I can promise you. I'll do my best not to give up. If it's just too much and I can't take it, I might have to if everything falls down, but it's not going to. Please, it's not going to. Fingers crossed. All right, so please hit that like button. Always remember that love will save the day for me, for you, for every single one of us. I really believe it's true. You probably can barely see the subscribe and share, or is it share and subscribe? And ring your notification bell, turn it on. See, I can't see it at all. It's so dark up there in that corner. But again, I'm not gonna worry about it. I've got all my candles. I've got my lights. I've got my squirrel. Can you see the squirrel? I don't know that you can. You should be able to. It's right there. Right there. See, that's what I mean. It's so frustrating how the camera lies to you. Before I turned it on, it said that you could see the squirrel. And now that I'm on, it says that you can't in my screen, but maybe you can, because I've noticed that what is in my screen when I review my video, it's not the same as what I see here right now, which is one of the things that really irritates me about the cell phone versus the laptop, because the laptop is very precise. It doesn't fib with you like that. But I was going to show my squirrel yoga mug because it's a fun one. And I've got celery, what is it? Celery, kale, and cucumber juice in it. I'm being really good. I'm always preaching to you guys about eating your veggies, but drinking them is just as good. So Get those veggies in you one way or another. Even like, you know, broccoli cheddar soup is another good way to get it. So just get it. Get those veggies. So let me take a drink and keep up with your chat and then do my disclaimer and get on with the show. One sec. Oh, and I got to show off the freaking crazy necklace that I put together on Sunday. So it was already a necklace that I had made like 6 months ago, but then I picked up this blue jasper that looks like it's dyed, and it is actually not dyed. You can tell because of the veins in it. And I fell in love, and I bought it and I took it home and I added it to this necklace. I wasn't even thinking of this necklace when I bought it, and I was trying to talk myself out of buying it because I told you guys I'm trying to make myself stop making jewelry because I got to keep up with my YouTube channel. I got to keep up with my life. I got to keep up with my job. I got to keep up with my yoga training, and I got to chill. So, you know, I just have to like let some things go, and I have all this cool jewelry. So there's really no need to keep making more, but this necklace needed this other piece like nobody's business. I needed this other piece like nobody's business. So, okay, enough about the jewelry. I do have a pair of earrings that are kind of Christmassy that I'm going to give away today. So when the video is over, it'll be about an hour long, maybe even a little bit longer, hopefully. Again, fingers crossed if everything works well. Then the first person in the comment section, once the live is over and it goes to the replay, whoever is first, and you know what I decided I want to do is whoever is first can win, even if they've won before, because I just changed my mind on that. I hope it's okay with you guys. One of the problems that I've had is getting people to send me their email, or getting people to email me with their addresses so I can send them their prizes. So it took a while with the first two, and then the second two, I still haven't gotten the emails. So if you won the little black earrings, which was the last one, or the red and black set that was very Christmassy, I want to send them to you in time for Christmas, and I don't want to give up on my winners and give them to somebody else. So these are Christmassy. I'll quit talking about the jewelry and get into the cases because there's a lot to cover. And everything I say is simply my opinion for the sake of conversation, always hoping to open up an intelligent discussion with my very compassionate and insightful viewers here. You guys help to propel the content in these videos so much. I mean, I feel like I can make them more concise by pre-recording them, but personally, I would much rather have it be more of a conversation and have it be longer, and that's just really what works for me. And it seems like that's what other people like too. It seems like people really like lives. People really like that I read their comments. So let me not miss them. And can hear you, but also I hear static. Dang it. And I won't even tell you about my earbuds, my AirPods. Nothing to talk about with those. We're not talking about it. I'm sorry for the static. I don't know what to do about that. But yeah, I know I hear that too when I'm replaying with, but sometimes even with the earbuds. So, good morning, everyone. Just lurking again. Same here. And you know what? I bought a mic that you clip on, and I think I used it once, but I don't think it was working. I have to figure out how to use it. So that's a problem too. Problems. We're not here to talk about my problems. We're here to talk about the problems of these very unfortunate cases, like Kylie Rodney. There's a lot I want to say about her case today. There's a lot I want to address with the Idaho 4 today. And there's a lot more stuff that I want to address. I want to make some corrections on a couple of mistakes that I made in my last live, which was Friday. And then hopefully it'll work out okay without, you know, being spread too thin to talk about some other cases that are of major points of interest to me, like the Mo Wilson case, the Maui case, Petito, there's stuff going on with that, but also Morphew, but even the Watts case, but I don't want to get spread too thin. So we'll just see how it goes. I kind of named them in my in my order of prioritization. So let's see. So sorry about all of the technical difficulties. And I'm so sorry to keep saying I'm so sorry about this, that, and the other. It's ridiculous when I'm watching. So let's see. Oh, PCM, hello. Hi, everyone. Michael McAllister, nice to see you. Oh, and Ninja's here. I missed what Ninja said. Good morning, everyone. Just lurking again. Oh, I read it. I just didn't read that it was you, Ninj. Sorry about that. It's terrible when I read things and don't realize that I read it. Dang it. I don't want to look like an airhead up here talking to you guys, letting you know that I just got a bunch of, cotton candy between the ears. Okay. And happy holidays to everyone. Yes, happy holidays. So we are coming into Christmas. What is today? The 4th of December? If my brain is actively on top of the date. I think tomorrow's the 5th and it's Wednesday. Today's the 4th and it's Tuesday. It's just a little bit after 1 o'clock on the Eastern Standard Time. I'm here in Ohio, coming at you live. I'll start with my corrections from Friday. I spoke about Robert Yates, but confused him with Dennis Rader. So I was speaking about Robert Yates, who was a serial person, unaliver, much like Dennis Rader, around the same age, same kind of professional background, both family men, married with children. Dennis Rader, I think, had 1 daughter. Robert Yates had 5 kids, 4 of which were daughters. So Yates was in Spokane, Rader was in Kansas. So they were both arrested around the same time, and they both did their unaliving around the same time. So Yates was the guy with the bulldozer and the excavator in his backyard in Spokane that literally his neighbors said, he was such a nice guy, he was a great neighbor. The only problem was when he was out there in his backyard with his big electrical, or not electrical, but you know what I mean, the big equipment, that crap, the big motorized equipment. In the middle of the night, like 3 a.m, like literally like pushing the earth around at 3 a.m. And so the neighbors all thought he was a great guy. His wife and kids all thought he was a great guy. He worked as a corrections officer. I want to say he was like an Eagle Scout too. I think he was the one who was the Eagle Scout, and because he did have the 1 son. And then he had previously worked as an airplane pilot. I don't know if he was a commercial airplane pilot or not, but he also had a work history in the military. So what an embarrassment to law enforcement and military. Dennis Rader, I believe, was the one who was BTK. We all know that. So sorry for crossing my wires. But what was I going to say about him? He was the one who worked in, he was like a park ranger type of law enforcement, like Department of Fish and Wildlife. So, these people in these positions of authority. And then there was a third one, Gary Ridgway, who was around the same age, same time frame. He worked as a short haul truck driver. He was in Seattle. He was the one that they called the Green River Killer, who probably in the end, he didn't even know how many people, like he had trouble remembering. There were so many. It was probably around 70, I want to say. Gary Ridgway. who was also married, didn't have kids, but his wife just thought he was like the sweetest guy in the world. Boy, was she wrong. So yeah, it's, those are the scariest ones, the ones that blend in. It's nice when they've got the Charles Manson eyes and you can identify them and say, yeah, stay away from that one. Which, in the Idaho 4 case, I don't know that the criminal defendant, I know he has Charles Manson eyes, but I don't know if that is actually portraying the truth of his character or not, or if that's one of the reasons why he makes a good fall guy, because he definitely's got the Charles Manson eyes, right? There's no denying that, but there is a lot of effery with the whole case and with the law enforcement, with the school, with the fraternities, with all the information, with all of the ever-changing information, the inconsistent information. We'll get into that. Let's see. Hi, sorry, today is Tuesday the 5th. Oh, thank you, Michael McAllister. Are you sure? Dang it, I was so close. Oh, see, because when I was setting up the live, and I was setting it up at like 12:53, and so I wanted to make it schedule it ahead for 12:55. So I switched the button to schedule it for later. When you do that, it automatically takes you to the next day. So then it was trying to make me schedule it for Wednesday the 6th at noon. And I was smart and I caught it and I went back to Tuesday the 5th. And then I not only changed it from noon to 12:55, but I even hit the PM button so it wouldn't say 12:55 a.m. So, and if it did say 12:55 a.m., that would have screwed everything up because, that's already passed. So, oh man. Trying to keep up with this stuff is insane. But any of you people out there who are not content creators that are thinking that you might want to try your hand at it, I would say go for it. Because honestly, if I can do it, anybody can. I mean, I'm not saying that to belittle myself. I'm saying that because it's true. You guys know how technologically challenged I am. And it was from watching other small content creator channels that would say that type of thing that really helped inspire me when the other like kind of more big time content creators were trying to help inspire me to do it, because they knew I had a lot to say. I just didn't know I had a lot to say, and then I certainly didn't know how to operate all this stuff to do a channel. And yeah, it's a learning curve, but you just do what you can and you just keep learning. It's fun, kind of fun. It's very challenging. And like, yeah, please hit that like button if it's still in the frame, and even if it's not. Let's see. Thank God, amen, for today, because we are not all promised tomorrow. So live today. Enjoy everything you are doing today. Amen. I love that, Michael. Thank you for saying that. And thank you for correcting me on the date, because I don't mind being corrected. In fact, I would much rather be corrected than like watch it later and be like, how come nobody corrected me? And I am, just very in tune with what you're saying, that, yeah, we don't know what tomorrow holds. We don't know what today holds. So we've got the moment, and you really have to live in the moment. No thanks, LOL, CB says. My mind gets creative, but I'm new ninja. That's cute, Jade Hunter. Ninja's a ninja, yeah, right? And good morning. I have a lot to say, but we'll say hi in chats on my favorite channels. You know what? That's very valuable. That's 100% super valuable. And yeah, I still like to get into other people's chats too. And it takes a lot of attention and effort to stay involved in the live and in the chat, because as we all know, they get out of sync sometimes. But that's the one thing that's nice about this process with the cell phone, is that I have no choice but to stay up to speed, because once it's gone, it's gone. I could scroll back, but I would risk knocking over the tripod and everything else. So we're not doing that. Okay, so yeah, just to finish up on what I was saying about like Yates and Rader and Ridgway, is that they had everyone fooled. And these were all, middle class white guys, middle aged white guys. And everyone said the same thing, that, that they seemed really nice. Dennis Rader's daughter and wife, Yates's children and wife, and then Ridgway's wife. And she didn't seem like an unintelligent person. She did a lot of public speaking about it. I was living in Seattle while he was arrested, and I was way too close to that whole situation. But I won't get into it because I want to stay focused on naming some of the best channels that I had forgotten to mention in the last few videos, because honestly, they kind of fell off my radar. You guys know Midnight Radio? I like that guy a lot. I could say I love that guy. He's an excellent content creator. If you don't know Midnight Radio, you may want to check him out. We all know that I love Breast Junkie and Ara and Squirrels on Fire and Bubbly Waters. And Blind is I think he's a new channel, and he's one of these people that would be in the chats a lot. And I think he would be on some of the channels that I have no interest in, and I think he would be in Squirrels on Fire. But I just subbed up to him, and I really like what he has to say. There's a whole bunch of other great ones that, Ninja and Mark Molina, and I always like to mention Divine Justice, aka Mrs. G the Honey Badger. Such a long name, but I like to say the whole thing because it's so cute. Okay. I'm going to be getting my new place here in a few days, possibly. Where are you? Aren't you in like Scotland or something like that, Michael? Or am I dreaming? And hey, Rhonda, you are good, Jade Hunter. I live too close to Truckee, and my tongue is sharp. Oh, I didn't know that, Jade Hunter. Yeah, I'd be concerned. Like if I lived on Maui, I'd be really concerned. I'm so glad that there's stuff happening with the Maui case. I'm so grateful for the channels that stay focused on it. Oh, and did I write that one guy down? I don't think I did. Dang it. I'll put it in the description. He is a businessman who did a lot of content on the Lahaina fires, and he's back at it. And then I can't think of his name off the top of my head because it's kind of an unusual name. And I thought I had it written down. Dang it, dang it, dang it. I did write it down, but just not on this notepad here. So I'm trying to keep the one notepad too. I didn't realize I wrote it on a different notepad because that was just yesterday. Saginaw, Michigan, and LOL, you are good. So you're getting a new place, you're moving? That's so stressful. I'm in Reno Sparks area. Ooh, Jade Hunter, yikes. Reno is, Reno 911, and then we all know Reno through the Truckee case. But most of all, I know Reno from the Rat Pack, right? Sinatra, isn't he like the daddy of Reno? Wasn't Reno his baby? Crazy. Let's see. That's scary. I mean, not scared of you. Reno 911. Yeah. And that's probably like a reality show, right? I mean, I know it's made to look like a reality show, but it's scripted. But aren't all reality shows scripted? I mean, come on. Okay. So let's see. I want to talk about conspiring, because when there's more than one person involved in a a crime, that's considered a actual conspiracy. If you have a theory that there's more than one person involved in a crime, you could call that little buzz phrase that I hate because it's very demeaning, and people use that just to try to write you off as another whack job, right? And if you're accurate, then it's not a theory. Then it's just a conspiracy. So I say that sometimes, but I really want to hit that home because I know that there's people out there who think I'm just some goofball conspiracy theorist. And you know what? I literally, honestly wish that that were the case. I would much rather be wrong about these cases. I have had people come to me in the past when I was very sure of something and they challenged me and they thought that I was wrong. And then they found out that I was right. And then they came to me and said, "Oh my God, you were right. You were right. Like, aren't you so happy that you were right?" And every time I would literally be like, "Are you freaking kidding me? No, I'm devastated that I'm right. I would much rather be proven wrong in a situation like this. I would much rather be proven wrong in the Idaho 4 case. I would much rather have it be just one whack job professor from the town next door than have it be what I think it is with the city of Moscow and the administration of the school there, the administration of the law enforcement there, and the Greek system eating its young. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that anywhere. And I don't want to see that in Truckee either. I would much rather have our dear Ms. Kiley have gotten into a rumble or, something that wasn't planned and that certainly didn't have more than one person involved because, that's just disgusting. That's just disgusting. I hope that I'm wrong with my theories about both of those cases. I hope that I'm wrong about my theory with Maui too, because that's completely out of control crazy. What I think happened in Maui, what I think is still happening with the cover-up in Lahaina is so off the chain that it seems completely far-fetched. It seems completely insane. It seems like it would have to be a conspiracy theory. There's no way on earth. I wish. Hello, Mom first always, and sorry whoever I missed right before that if there was somebody that I missed. And good morning, Not So Dumb Blonde. Nice to see you. It's been a little while. Very nice to see you, squirrels. Late but present. Well, I won't mark you tardy, don't worry. Rhonda, CB, Shan, get your message from me today. CB's asking you, Shan, if you got the message. Jade Hunter says, wow. I can't see what that second word is. My ex lives there now. Verity, is that what you wrote? I'm not sure. There's a little bit of glare. Let's see. Rhonda says crazy about Gabby's parents. Right. And yeah, I mean, that I think was obvious from the outset. It's crazy that things are getting admitted. And I'm so glad that her parents have the financial means and the emotional capacity to push the lawsuit against the Laundries and against their attorney, because people don't realize that you can sue an attorney. You can sue a freaking judge. You can sue anybody you want. It might not stick and it might not work out, but you can file a lawsuit against anyone. You can file a lawsuit against your own attorney, and people do all the time. Let's see. Yeah, so Gabby's parents, well, what's crazy about that is the Laundrie parents. I mean, Gabby's parents are just like right on the money. They are very caring, kind people. They are doing a lot to fight domestic violence. There has to be more than something. I'm sorry, I missed that. Annie Ruler, Did you think of a good Maui video for my friends to see? No, I'm gonna make it, Annie Ruler. I'm gonna have to make that good Maui video. You know, it's hard. That would be like, what would be one good video to watch for the Kylie Rodney case, or one good video for any of these cases, for the Idaho 4 or the Watts case, Suzanne Morphew, Maureen Wilson. There's so many good channels and so much good content, and I love to hear different people's opinions about it. So, and then to make up your own mind, because a lot of times we don't have all the answers. So, I'll keep thinking about it, and I should have been able to come up with something after 3 days, but yeah, there's just too many good ones. And check emails as well. Let's see. They deserve some kind of justice for Gabby, don't they? And honestly, again, I know people might think that it's pretty out there, but I don't believe that their son is deceased. I think they helped him get out of the country. I honestly believe that his dentist uncle helped him. I believe that the law enforcement affiliations that his family had from when they lived in Long Island, that his mother worked for the government in Long Island for like 25 years. And then that whole Bertolini character, I mean, they had the local law enforcement in their pocket. And they turned a blind eye and they let him run, and they gave him a head start. I mean, that whole thing was crazy when they were like, oh, we thought that his mother was him, Roberta. What? And then you guys remember that dating profile that somebody found that came up in a Canadian Kindle kind of thing? And again, that could be a farce. That could be just anybody doing crazy stuff on the internet the way they do. That was said when BK was getting arrested. First thing he said was anyone else arrested? Right. And, at the time, I thought he was just saying that to be, to throw them a curveball. I thought, that he fit the bill, and that he was just trying to confuse them, trying to obfuscate, right? My new word from my last video. He was just obfuscating. Yeah, that's what he was doing. Just gaslighting. That's another easier term to enunciate, right? Fred Field, hello. Rhonda, I believe it. Oh, about Brian Laundrie. Yeah. I mean, it's just like O.J. Simpson and his suicide note. People that are that narcissistic will never take themselves out, you guys. They just won't. That stays with me as well. Not so dumb blonde. That statement is why I don't really touch that case. But seeing as it's corrupt, laced, maybe I should have. Hey, it's not too late, corruption laced. It is not too late, Shan. I mean, it's kind of nice that you've just been focused on our dear Kylie. It's not just kind of nice, it's really nice. But I think that they're, the way I've approached the cases, I think that they help garner insight into each other somewhat. So yeah, I'm going to read yours again. That stays with me as well. That statement, I don't really touch the case, but seeing the corruption based, maybe I should have. And Jade Hunter says, that is not far-fetched at all. Brian Laundrie being out of the country. Yep. You have the money and know people, you can make anyone disappear. Right. And faking your own death is apparently not as hard as you might think, especially since you can like Google it and get some hot tips from Google. I mean, and that's always good when you're going to commit crimes, to Google the crimes that you're going to commit so that they can look back at your digital footprint and bust you with it. So please keep doing that, you stupid criminals. Dang it, I just gave them all a hot tip, didn't I? As if they couldn't have figured that out on their own. I totally think Brian got away. Well, I'm glad I don't feel like such an alien. See, this is why I love my people. Because I know a lot of people are like, that's crazy. They have his bones on the internet. You know what? They started with one tooth. They literally started with a tooth, and then they came up with a jawbone, and then that I've seen a photograph of a bunch of bones on the internet that they say are his, that literally look like all different sizes, shapes, and colors and ages, and it's like a joke. I mean, it's like an anthropology thing. It, it's really unbelievable. It's just stupid. And it's like, just because you see it on the internet doesn't mean it's true. We all freaking know this, but we forget all the time. Just because you find it on a website, even if it's a government website, you know, these things can be altered. There can be mistakes. There can be inaccuracies. You have to know what you're looking for, and you have to have discernment and a healthy amount of skepticism always. There's too much to focus on. Yeah, sorry, I missed a bunch of comments there. Property, both Tahoe area and Maui. TH has property. I'm not sure who TH is. The in Tahoe and Maui. Let's see, paid off everyone or blackmail. Right, absolutely. You know, when you have dirt on people, you know, another quote that I got from that movie that I love so much, Zero Effect, is you cannot buy silence. You can only rent it. And that is the truth. Many in these missing deceased cases in the Tahoe region have links to Maui. Yeah, that's creepy AF, huh? Doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, Maui is just considered, you know, the most exotic of the exotic Hawaiian Islands. Some people like Kauai better. Kauai's not as developed. I mean, Maui has like the top-notch resorts, probably like comparable to Dubai. I mean, it's crazy expensive and crazy fancy, which is one of the problems with the culture there, is that all of the working class and the artists that live there, that the whole tourist industry relies on, but they don't like having them there. You know, they don't want to see them, they don't want to be around them. And they all lived in Lahaina, you guys, like no joke. They all lived in Lahaina. There's a lot of fancy areas in Lahaina, but that was like the affordable part of the island for people to like raise their kids. I mean, there's probably other parts of the island that have schools and such, because, I mean, I don't know. I've never been to that island, but, you know, the islands are pretty spread out. They're pretty big. So, you know, you can't really go to school on the other end of the island from where you live. You need to have a school on your side. And yeah, the kids from Lahaina, I think, are mostly in other schools on the island of Maui. I know some of them are on other Hawaiian islands. Some of them have come to the mainland. But, you know, we still have never gotten a freaking answer about the children. How many children? 2, they say, when I'm pretty sure I know of at least 3 that were deceased. I was going to look again just in the last couple of days to see if they're still stuck on their 99 number for the total of fatalities from the August 8th fire, and I would bet that they are. I would bet if we Googled it right now, which I can't do because my phone, but if somebody wants to Google it and see if it still says 99, my guess is that if anything, they've brought the number down. But, you know, that number 99 is lower than 100 by 1. And that big crazy fire at the Station nightclub in Rhode Island 20 years ago, that hideous accident killed 100 people. And that seems like it was the perfect storm and an actual accident. This whole Maui thing does not seem like a perfect storm of accidental BS. It seems like a perfect storm of a setup. You know, the having the power turned off, and then lying and saying that, you know, they were directing traffic the wrong way because of the downed power lines when they know that the power lines were off. So there's some things in the newest Brush Junkie video that I wanted to mention that she said, which I thought was really intelligent. She said that everyone's saying the same speed of the winds, like guessing that it was 70 to 80 miles per hour. And this is like the people in positions of authority, that them all coming up with that same number seems scripted. Seems like they said, well, let's just say that it was 70 to 80 mile an hour winds. Because when you're dealing with winds that strong, you might just say, like, the strongest winds I've ever experienced in my life, or, you know, my goodness, they had to be 100 miles an hour. They seemed like 500 mile an hour winds. You wouldn't everybody keep saying that same number range. So I thought that was really key. I thought, right on, Tracy. I think you nailed it. Those are the things that investigators look for when they separate their suspects and they get their stories from them. Is, of course, they want to find the inconsistencies in the stories, but the things that are too consistent in the stories, those are key. Those are absolutely key. So, Ara did a really good video, I think it was the day before yesterday, another live that I think might still be up. And she was covering a lot of the Kylie Rodney and going over it with a fine-tooth comb, the way Shan has been doing. Yeah, right. After KR went missing, I seen something on YouTube. Sorry, I missed all that. And Shan is talking about Skidmark and some others. Surprised to see the private property that Paul Jr. owns where Christine Anderson was found. Wow, that just gave me chills, Shan. Jade Hunter says, oh yes, the KA case is, or did you mean KR? I've seen hundreds, if not thousands, of reports on people, but never have I seen one wiped like Paul Jr.'s. The only thing listed is one property. Everything else is gone. I don't know, is Paul Jr., is that a Pelosi, Shan? I'm not sure who that is. I sent you an email about Skidmark, Jade Hunter says. To me or to Shan? Either way, I will check. Oh, Kristen Anderson. Thank you, Shan. Yes, it's a, yeah. Gross. Gross, gross, gross. So, let's see. Some of the things that Sammy said that Ara talked about in her video that I have wanted to readdress many times, and I think I've addressed them at various times, but I want to hit home, and I'm pretty sure Shan has addressed these same things, but I know Ara did in her last video. So going back to Scammy and all the crazy crap that that girl said when she was talking about how there were thousands of volunteers and millions of calls, tips coming in. That girl literally said that in the Tony Dodge interview. Thousands of volunteers and millions of tips. Like, is she delusional? Or is she just a liar? Or is she just one of these people who can't stop herself from exaggerating like crazy? But when she was discussing the story that she was trying to portray about how her and Kylie had been texting that day and they weren't planning on going together to the party and they ended up not going together to the party, that doesn't make sense. If you were to say, we planned on going to the party together, but then ended up not going together. Or we planned on not going together, but then we ended up going together. But she said this same weird thing twice. She said it about herself getting there with Kylie, but separately. She also said it about Magdalena Larson. You want me to spell that for you? Give you her birth date so you can track her down. That she was not planning on leaving with Kylie, and she ended up not leaving with Kylie. Again, the same weird sentence structure. These are the types of things that happen when you're lying, when you're confabulating. Things come out of your mouth wrong, and you can't reel it in, because if you do, it's just going to bring attention to it. So you have to just keep flying with it. So the ended up not going together, ended up not leaving together, doesn't make sense. But what Ara was doing in her last live that I really wanted to underscore was catching that part of the story that really shows Mags delivering Kylie to the party and to Sammy, in my opinion. I fully believe, and I've always believed that. I just haven't been able to think it through and articulate it so well and tie it in to the clues that Sammy gave in her BS until Ara's last live. I always thought that Mags felt very responsible for what happened because she had a very strong role in it, and that she wants to come clean, because this is my conjecture. I personally think she might not have realized it was going to end the way it ended. And she didn't realize what she was getting herself into. She didn't realize what she was participating in until it was too late. And then she's thinking if she comes clean that she'll go to jail too, because she's an accomplice, an accessory, a co-conspirator. So there, I said it. Shan will blow this wide open. I just know. Well, she sure is. And so is Ara and Ninja and Divine Justice, a.k.a. Mrs. G, the Honey Badger. I think that, and Mark Molina, I think that there's a lot of synergy. And, we all are working together. We're all putting our minds together. We're all in these chats together. We're all coming up with new ideas, similar ideas, contrasting ideas. Like I was in Divine Justice's live the other day, and I really liked everything she said. I didn't agree with everything she said, but I thought she had a lot of great theories. So, it's fine to disagree. And we don't know. We absolutely don't know. That's why we're here. That's what we're trying to do. We need more of these. They had hundreds of thousands of tipsters. We need more of these. Yeah, to confuse further. Cal Topo, I caught that but missed the most of it. I loved Ara's 3 Truths and a Lie. That was CCTV. I just caught that, 3 Truths and a Lie. That was really interesting. You're right, Shan. I awoke from a nap. And so Shan was probably correcting you too. It was a good nuggy nap. A good nappy nap. Is Mag still with her same boyfriend, the one she supposedly left the party with? That's a really good question, because a lot of situations like this will break couples up. It's just too stressful, the holding of the lies and the guilt, and yeah. It's a very good question. I mean, they seemed like they were very tightly intertwined and very committed to each other. So part of me would think that they probably are still together, but it just depends. Also, they're young. Like, she's probably just graduated high school, or maybe she's in her senior year now. And then I don't know if he had graduated that year, if he was a senior at that senior party. Civil conversations go a long way. Yeah, and like I said, I hope that I'm wrong about a lot of crap. I really honestly do, because sometimes the theories that I have are very sinister, and I would much rather that the reality not be that sinister. I really would. I would much rather be that it was just like a horrible accident gone awry, things snowballed, got out of control, and then, that's just me reading into something. I would much rather have it be that way. It's a lot less dark. I mean, it's still horrible. You still have the same outcome, but, you know, you just got to have the truth either way. There's a reason Anime said there she is, and also a reason why she did such hard edits on the adventure. Yeah, I agree. I unsubbed A for J, and I'm no fence ride. Oh, Jade Hunter, I think that whatever floats a person's boat, and that, it's unfortunate for there to be these wars within the Kylie crew, people that want justice for Kylie. But it's important to speak your truth, and it's important to just try to do your best and to not get immature and middle school like, because there's so much of that. There's so much of that that I think causes these crimes to occur. And there's so much of that in like the law enforcement divisions that are supposed to be busting these cases wide open. And then there is so much of that here in the YouTube land, and I am not immune to it. I'm not trying to insinuate that I am. But I just think it's really important that we all own up to our own crap and just try to refocus, keep our eye on the ball. Why are we here? What are we doing? Are we here just to self-promote and to slam people so that we feel better about ourselves? Or are we here to help further the case to find the truth for what happened to our dear Kylie, or what happened to all of these lost souls in Maui, or what happened in the Idaho 4? Also, I wanted to talk about the Mo Wilson case because True Crime Rocket Science, he came to the States and he attended some of the court proceedings, and he's covered the case so well. And in his most recent videos about it, he has said that he's noticed that the viewership for the Mo Wilson case is much lower than his viewership for other cases. And he is kind of angry about it, and I don't blame him, because I think that it's an interesting case. Just because who done it and she's been sentenced doesn't make it any less tragic or valuable to try to learn from it. So I thought that was fascinating for him to say that he sees a lack of interest in that case, and to him it's very upsetting, and to me as well, because I think that Mo's story should be heard, and I think that the right person is in jail, obviously, but I think that there's more to the story. I really do. The fact of the person who purchased the weapon that she killed that person with, the fact of who the killer lived with and went home to that night, and apparently she seduced him and had rough relations with him, like in the kitchen when they got home, but they were pretty much split up, like they were sleeping in separate rooms. So allegedly, according to the resources that True Crime Rocket Science has, and he does his homework, the boyfriend, the ex-boyfriend, the man slut is what I want to call him, and I'm not going to apologize for it, because apparently that's just how he conducts his life. But he was all traumatized from, getting seduced by his live-in ex-girlfriend that he was hoping to get paid back the $500,000 from, that he was probably still hoping to get paid back the $500,000 from. Like, if he was so freaking traumatized by that, then why was he kind of defending her on the stand? And why was he mumbling? And why was he trying to insinuate that some other crazy, jealous girlfriend that he screwed could have done it too? I mean, dude, keep it in your freaking pants. Like, if this didn't teach you a lesson, I don't know what will. Just saying. Grr. Yeah, I said it. Okay. There's a reason she won't name her ride home as much. Yeah, sorry I missed all that. Nick O got a distinct voice. Corruption everywhere. I think Scammy won't say who was her ride home was because she was driving Kylie's car to wherever. You know what, PCM? I think you're probably right. I honestly think that you hit that nail on the head. The way she kept saying, like, oh, so she called me and I said, you know, I'm driving. I mean, I'm in the passenger seat getting a ride home. You know, someone else is driving. The way she handled that, part of the lies in her interview, yeah, I think that that's really accurate. So let's see, how about the chief and his ride-alongs with little girl? Yeah, little girls, yes, not so dumb blonde. Yeah. So you're talking about Wayne Wu and his history of sexual misconduct on the job and statutory assault. So, yeah, that guy belongs in prison for statutory assault, and he definitely deserves to be stripped of any kind of law enforcement, any kind of law enforcement. He should not be a commissioned law enforcement officer. That's what I'm trying to say. He should be decommissioned. But no, instead he's in charge of the whole freaking county. He's the coroner, he's the public administrator. And you guys got to remember, it was Ara who helped me figure out that he was installed into the position as police chief a month before, almost a month to the day, if I'm remembering right, a month before this 16-year-old, this incredibly gorgeous, hot 16-year-old goes missing. Like, no coincidence, people. No such thing as coincidence in homicide. And I do believe that this is a homicide. And I also believe that that's why they're so adamant to call it an accident in the autopsy, because that just closes the book on that. But why is the California State Highway Patrol report still not in? Jade Hunter says, I missed that, sorry. We'll discuss some important stuff in my next live. Do you know when your next live might be, Squirrels? No pressure, just curious if you have an idea. The posters in Truckee saying, say goodbye to your favorite senior. Oh, man, Fred, I've never read it like that. Haunt me. Were they really saying, say goodbye to Kylie forever? Fred, holy crap, man. That right there, you guys, that is so spooky. And yes, that seems entirely possible, in my opinion. And Not So Dumb Blonde, I think, is wowing to your comment there. I just got to figure out if I can go live tonight or if it has to be Wednesday. Right now it's looking like Wednesday, but I promise that wait is worth it. Oh yeah, no problem. No problem. You got to give yourself time. Like, you know, I did not really want to take the day off yesterday, but I had to. I just had too much work to do. So I'm just glad that I'm here today. I don't enjoy taking the day off, but yeah, we've got to take care of ourselves. And again, if we're pushing ourselves too far, we're not taking care of ourselves. We're going to lower the quality of our work, and we're going to saturate our audience. And we don't want that. We don't want you guys to get sick of us. We want you to keep wanting more, right? That's the whole idea. So yeah, put yourself first, girl. please. And, you know, it's nice that people are excited for you to come on. Like, I'm always excited for you to come on, but if you told me you needed to take a month off for whatever reason, I'd make it through. It would be rough, but I would. So, Fred, that hit me hard, Jade Hunter. I know. It's freaking profound AF, you guys. Nefarious Nefarians of Truckee. Not so dumb blonde says squirrels on fire. Okay. Thank you. I'll sub up. I have a channel, just haven't been able to go forward yet. Oh, that's okay. You know, when I started mine a year ago, I tried really hard to do videos every day just because I was trying to break the ice and get myself used to it. I was trying to get comfortable talking to the camera because I was extremely uncomfortable talking to the camera. And I was just trying to make it habitual. So for me, I've told you guys that I know this about myself, that I either do things every day or I don't do them. There's not a lot in between. So like yesterday, the fact that I took the day off, especially after a Saturday and Sunday of not creating content, I don't even think I was in anybody's live, or was I? I have trouble remembering all this. I know I was in one of Shan's lives. That was over the weekend. But I missed being in Ara's live. I'll never take a month off. I know. I took a week off when I traveled for my aunt's funeral. I have taken a week off a couple of times in situations like that, but I don't like it. I would much rather have my creative outlet and have my squirrel squad right here in my back pocket, right? So let's see what else you guys are saying. You'd go crazy if you tried, Shan. I know, I go nuts just with the 3 days, or like not having my laptop for this month. You know, I mean, honestly, almost every day I think, well, I could just not create content until I get my laptop back. And then I'm just like, no way, I'll just keep suffering through. You know, I mean, I know the quality isn't as good in my opinion, but you know, you just do what you got to do. You just got to, you know, put it together with spit and duct tape. No problem. Just keep on keeping on. So much for the help in advice, love, and hugs. Not so dumb blonde says, Shan, I just realized already a sub LOL. Thank you so much for the help and advice. And let's see, I meant lives and usually have to watch later. Yeah. Squirrel Squad, only you can prevent dumpster fires. Yeah, that's a really good t-shirt that we're all going to be buying from Shan, or winning on her channel, or both, right? Love your content, Chaz. Oh, thank you, CB. And back at ya. You are part of it. Not so dumb blonde. I was about to offer you a V8 drink. You know, V8 is a good fallback. And, you know, it's high sodium, and the low sodium stuff tastes like crap, so I don't recommend it. But it is a good way to get a lot of vegetables into your system. Just, you got to watch your sodium content. That's the only thing. But yeah, there's a lot of vegetable juices that I actually like. Some of them I don't like, but I kind of like suffering through the weird earthiness of the ones that I don't like even. Sometimes I'm just like, blah, I can't do it. What is going on with your computer? Did you demand a new one? I did, Mom, first, always. I did. I sent a very sharp email last night, demanded a full refund or a new one, a replacement immediately, if not sooner. And I will follow up. I'll probably walk in there today and try not to burn the place down. Oh, thank you, Angel. That's so sweet. Love the spicy V8 mixed with a splash of mango. Oh, that sounds good. Yeah, and then there's all the V8s with different fruit juices too. But yeah, like Bolt House and Naked and all of those other veggie, those fruit smoothies are a good way to get your produce. But for me, I always want to watch the sugar, so I go for the vegetable juice. A lot of us need to be careful of our sugars and just make sure you're eating your protein or your fat when you have fruit sugar, so that, or any kind of carbs, so that you can stabilize your glycemic index. That is super important for all of us, not just those with blood sugar issues. Blonde, you've been missing out. Good, glad you get reference. Need your email, Justice. It's justice, ATOOZ, @gmail.com. There it is. Shan's got it. Okay, so what else did I want to correct? There were a couple of other things. Okay, so there's this movie that I always talk about. Not always, but every time I mention it, I call it the wrong name. I mentioned it on Friday. It's one of the best Tim Robbins movies, and I love Tim Robbins. And it's called The Player. It's not called The Producer. I always call it The Producer, and then I'm like, what? It's not The Producer? Is it The Associate? No, it's The Player. So anybody who's seen that movie knows how good it is. I need to rewatch it because, like I said, I love Tim Robbins. I love the storyline. And Whoopi Goldberg is even in it. It's from 1992. Hugh Grant is in it when he was not so famous. So the other thing was that I brought up Sylvester Stallone, and when he wrote Rocky, which was his masterpiece and his baby, and he tried to sell it to Hollywood, and they wanted to buy it and, have their way with it. And he said, no, thank you. I'm going to do it my way. And somebody brought up, what was it? The name of the song or a movie that I was like, is that a song or a movie? And I didn't write that part down. But I looked it up, and it's a song that his brother sings, Frank Stalone. And I never knew about his brother and his songwriting. So thanks for that tip, you guys. Do you remember what the song was? Because I was talking about Sly Stallone, and then I was saying something with that phrase in it, and then you guys threw it back at me, and I was like, is that a Sylvester Stallone movie? But again, I didn't write that part down, so I don't know what it was. If you guys remember, that would be very helpful. Thanks, ladies. Is that what that says? Oh, the glare. It looks like it says, thanks, ladies. Shan, Catu. Caltopo is very telling when unchecking searchers to show only certain ones. Oh, they do look so much alike. Not So Dumb Blonde. Yeah, when I was looking online, yeah, it was like a 3-word title to the song that was something else too. Can you guys look it up for me, please? It just drives me nuts that I don't have my other gadget to look stuff up when I'm on live. Hit the like, everyone. Hit that like. And make sure that you're still subscribed. Share the video if you like. Turn on your notification bell to ring. So about the Idaho 4 case. Bubbly Waters and not Divine Justice, aka Mrs. G, the Honey Badger, but the other one, Divine Pathways, and 1111 Tarot. These channels have all been focusing on Ethan, his frenemy, Hunter Johnson, who is the guy who is wearing the zip ties when the police go over to the 1122 King or Queen Road address when they allegedly had a noise complaint call to Jack D's house. I think that's 1127 King Road. But it was like 6:30 in the evening, you guys. I think it was a Saturday, but even if it was a Tuesday, it doesn't matter. Like, you don't do noise complaints typically at that time of day, because especially when you're in a college town and you're on Frat Row. I mean, that's just crazy. So I think the police were up to something in showing up at Jack D's house, as well as, of course, going over to the 1122 address when they had no business being there. And they lied and said they had a noise complaint to that address when they had not. But focusing on that guy is really feels like a good place for channels to be focusing on Hunter Johnson. Very creepy. I'm very creeped out by the pearl necklace that he's been wearing. And you guys know what a pearl necklace is. Like, I don't have to tell you any of that gross jizz crap. Just Google it. You know, so it's like this big thing these days for guys to wear pearl necklaces, for girls to wear pearl necklaces. But come on, it's gotta have that double meaning, I would think, in my opinion. And it's just weird. I mean, I literally thought it was a puka necklace when people kept talking about it being a pearl necklace. I'm like, oh my goodness, he is wearing a pearl necklace, isn't he? And I think it was Bubbly Waters who was questioning if it might be a trophy. And I think she might be onto something. I don't know. But all three of those channels have been really hyper focusing on him. And I think that that's a good thing to do. Something that was brought up in one of the videos, and I forget which one of those three content creators it was in the last few days, but I'd forgotten about Ethan's hamstrings being, you know, trigger warning, being sliced. I forgot all about that. I don't know if it's true and accurate, but it's a weird piece of information either way. It's weird if it is true, and it's even weirder if it's not true, and that's just a rumor. Why? That's so gross. I mean, it's very much like a Greek play. And is that it? Because the whole Greek system? Is it the Greek play? The Achilles heel? Is it to do with the story of Achilles? I want to figure out if Skidmark went home during search. Certain pearls are worth $50K each and up. Shan, make sure you get your picture in the park ranger uniform. Don't forget to take and have it taken so it'll stay up. Oh, that's hilarious. That's too funny. Okay, I missed the necklace Skidmark. Oh, the nickname Skidmark, LOL. Who is it? It's, check it. YS Pearl Drops, or yeah, Pearl Drops, tooth polish now, forever effed up in my mind. Oh, that's so funny, Jade Hunter. And yeah, like Pearl Jam, come on, like that band, they're a great band, but they had this whole backstory of how that was one of their grandmas would make jam and write on the jars Pearl Jam. I don't think so. We all know what Pearl Jam is. And I mean, maybe, but we all know what Pearl Jam is. Give me a freaking break. These people are just lewd. And what, they just think people are that naive or unfamiliar? Give me a break. Dang it. Us old folks, we know what's going on. We're down with it. We're hip. We're cool. The jizz. Gross. Absolutely disgusting. Jade, I know if you compare it to his All Trails. Okay, missed half of it. Check mark, skid mark. Oh, that works, Jade Hunter. Check it. Yeah, I like the transition there. Because, yeah, I was asking Shan the other day how she came up with that, and I don't think she even really knew, but that's probably it right there, huh? Grabby Hands, aka, yes, old, I'm here. Mark Molina, nice to see you, dude. Thanks for coming in. I'm dumb, but I'll Google it. Oh, yeah, Jade, prepare yourself. Prepare yourself. You know, some things are just too much to Google. Like when I first sat down with my little Google gadget and Googled OnlyFans and sororities, and Google just had way too much uncomfortable information to share with me that I was just like, I don't even believe you, Google. You're crazy. You're a conspiracy theorist, Google. Like, shut the F up. Like, Google's the one who told me all this stuff about sororities and OnlyFans. It's a thing. Of course it's a thing. I mean, co-eds have always been a thing in that industry, and it's a very, very profitable industry. Of course it's all going to come together like that. Unless Google is just wrong or lying, right? Just gaslighting me. There we go. The way he mucked up the laptop reminded me of the Squidward walking around, and at that time, and I love Squidward, I was calling him Checkmark. Skidmark came out of all of it. Right. I remember you telling me that story now over the weekend. Because, yeah, that was the last question I asked you in your live before I had to hang up and go night. That is so funny. And yeah, Squidward, you used that image of Squidward in one of your videos with MC Ultra. And used some other really good cartoon characters that really nailed it. But Squidward was one of the best, in my opinion. For sure. Mark says, hello, guys, Angel, CB, and everybody. And yeah, where are we at? We're at an hour and over 15 minutes. Man, that goes fast. Okay, so the Ethan and his hamstrings, I want to know if that's true or not. Like, that is so gross. I mean, the whole story is gross, right? The whole story is just disgusting. But one of the points that I wanted to discuss with you guys today is in one of the early pressers when Captain Lanier is speaking, and in response to some of the questions from the investigative journalists, he says, you're just going to have to trust us, us as the law enforcement. You're just going to have to trust us. I can't tell you that. You're just going to have to trust us. And it's so weird because it's like, yeah, you're law enforcement. You don't have to tell anybody anything. And most people do trust law enforcement. And didn't Sam Brown say something really similar to that in the Kylie Rodney case? It seems like he did. Something very similar. Like they were reading from the same script. So I could make a list of names for you that rest in peace. Aw, hit that like button. Hard to trust these days. Absolutely. Yeah, and nobody has to trust law enforcement. I mean, if law enforcement's giving you good reason not to trust, then of course you're not going to trust. And it's an abuse of the trust. It's a straight up abuse of the trust. I'm going to try to down the rest of this weird veggie juice. Which one is it? It's the Evolve brand. It's kind of newer, and it's really good with the low carbs and almost all veggies, and doesn't taste so much like dirt. I thought of it. You thought of it. Sam Brown. Oh. You thought of it. We thought of it, Sam Brown. Yeah, interesting. Freudian slips. Yeah. Right. I mean, why would you say you're just going to have to trust us? Because there's no trust there. And who says that? Who says, like, oh, trust me? That's sort of like when somebody like Scammy is speaking and they say, well, to be totally honest, and I think Chris Watts said that a lot. Probably NK said that a lot. Yeah, when people say that, it's like, well, wait, you mean you're not being honest all the rest of the word salad that you're throwing out there? Let's see. If you thought of it, we thought of it. Yeah. So much said that sets off high alert systems. Yeah. Squirrels, you're right. So let's talk about the high alert systems that were not set off in the Maui fires, because that, to me, is some of the most profound and telling. Not just that they didn't send out the alerts that day, because that's huge, and we all know that that was a crock that was fed to the public, that a lot of people like nationwide bought that story. Like, well, yeah, they didn't want to sound the alarms because people would have thought it was a tsunami and they would have run straight up the hill, right straight into the fire. That is BS. Like, he's got to come up with some kind of answer to why he didn't sound off the alarms. That's completely crazy. And then the fact that people like buy it, like the dude quit his job the next day. Obviously there's a problem. Obviously there's a problem with the integrity. Obviously there's a problem with how he handled the situation. But even the night before, there should have been and would have been, and usually there would be, the um, extreme weather alerts on people's phones getting texted out that there's going to be these high winds coming. And then those high winds were allegedly from a hurricane that was 600 miles away. And I'm not a meteorologist. I don't know, but I know a lot of people that do know about these things have said that that's not possible to have that high of a wind from a hurricane that's 600 miles away. And yeah, it certainly doesn't make much sense. So, now there's a lot of effery with the rebuilding of Maui, and Hawaii real estate has been dropping a lot of information about it. And that other guy, whose name I can't remember, it's just his name, first and last. And he did a lot of Maui footage, and then he kind of dropped off the face of the earth, and then he came back, and now he's back again. Speaking of which, Real Justice is back on. Shan, you were the first one to notify me of that, and Real Justice has been making some really good short videos, and I'm looking forward to the ones to come. Jade Hunter says, maybe we should all start praying at the same time. That's, I think, a really good idea, Jade Hunter. I really believe in the power of prayer, and I certainly believe in the power of crowdsourcing prayer. I have experienced the magic of it directly, personally. So, yeah, I think it's a really good idea. They wouldn't be able to handle all the questions and were likely avoiding the tow truck video and biggest lead they had from Nick. A huge protest needs to happen. Oh, in Truckee? That's a good idea. It was Ara who brought up Vanessa, I think Guillene is how you might say her last name. The young woman that was in the army that was unalived by her superior, her supervisor. I think in the infirmary, if I'm remembering correctly, and then taken out in totes. Vanessa Guillene, something like that. And I apologize for hacking up her name, but her family protested, I want to say every day for like a year until they got answers. Like they showed up to, I think it was Fort Hood, and they showed up with their protest signs and they demanded answers. And they knew right away that something was wrong because she was in constant contact with her family. They lived like 3 hours away, I think, from the base where she was stationed. And so not only would she be in constant contact with them during the week, but she would also go home, I think, every weekend. And so when they didn't hear from her for a few hours, they knew something was bad. They knew that something had happened because that was her habit. That was how she was she was always in touch with her family. Vanessa Guillene, it's like Gullien. It's a really sad story. And it took a lot for them to get some justice. The perp offed himself. But the military has really tried to pass the buck and not handle it appropriately. And hopefully her family has been able to make a difference with that. Just like Gabby Petito's family making a difference with the domestic violence. You guys probably heard about the guy up there in New York City who unalived 4 of his family members, and all with a freaking like steak knife from the kitchen. and two of them I think were kids, and he was in his 30s, and his only prior, and he was shot on site by law enforcement, but he even stabbed two law enforcement officers, like one in the neck, the other in the head or the face. His only prior was domestic violence. And I'm so sick of these people with these priors with domestic violence that it gets written off like it's no big deal, like it's, you know, a drunk driving incident, which should be a big deal too. But it's written off like, oh, just a DV, just one DV assault. The one DV assault in his record was for choking someone out. And it was either like a girlfriend or a wife, something like that. Choking someone out. If this was not your girlfriend or wife, you would get severely punished for trying to choke someone out. Like, that's attempted freaking murder. Oh, but it's just DV. And then he goes years later and kills 4 or 5 members of his family. I think it was 4, but then maybe a 5th one died in the hospital. I'm not 100% sure, but it was crazy. You guys heard about that over the weekend, didn't you? Because I was like, what in the world? Like, unbelievable. But again, to reiterate, if people were, if domestic violence was taken more seriously, that guy could have been in jail for his prior and then not had access to unalive all those family members and children. And then for the ones that survived, what? I think it was like 8 of them were there, and he just assaulted everybody, and then the police came and they tried to talk to him, and then he assaulted them before they realized that he was the culprit of the call. And unreal, just extremely disturbing. Just like Gabby Petito's domestic violence call. And for the one officer that was training the other officer to have even said, for all we know, she could end up unalive in a couple of weeks. And then lo and behold, so crazy, so crazy. And yeah, it's really sad. It's really sad that it takes so long for things to happen. And people need to realize that it's not okay to assault or victimize anybody. It's not okay to victimize people with your emotional abuse, just like it's not okay with your physical abuse. And that emotional abuse is, I think, part of the cyberbullying that we see here in the land of YouTube with all the back and forth. So, you know, the sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. The words are extremely hurtful. So, you know, I try really hard to not bring up the negative. I try really hard just to focus on the positive, because there is so much positive out there. There's so many great content creators. There's so much great material. You know, last week I said how there's like 95% of what I see on YouTube is crap. And I mean that. And at the same time, that 5% of not crap is extraordinarily brilliant, in my opinion. You know, there's a lot of really great material. There's a lot of really great creators. And then there's a lot of gobbledygook that is just a waste of everybody's time. And in my opinion, it diminishes the whole platform, and it makes all of us look like a bunch of goofballs, really. But let me read a few more of your comments and then wrap up. We are getting close to 90 minutes, so I'm so happy to be here with you guys today. Thank you for being here with me. Both Canadian, huh? They sure are both Canucks. What did I miss about the Canucks? I'm trying to curb my comments. I know. Get passionate. Where is proof? Where is the video of Sammy at gas station? Thank you, Mark Molina. You're always getting down to the nitty gritty. And why not Kylie last known location? We need answers from everyone. Geez. Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous, you know? I mean, for law enforcement to not do their job is criminal. Dereliction of duty is a crime. It is a crime. Um, so they can be sued, they can be charged, they can be arrested for it, but who's going to do that? Who's going to charge them, sue them, arrest them? It could be one of those things, you know, if we all wrote to the governor of California, maybe something would happen. I don't know. I know that that's what people in Maui have been requesting from YouTube content creator viewers to get busy and get serious. That if you care, you know, do something. You can send $5 to somebody who needs it, or better yet, write to a senator, email, call. That senator, that actually not senator, sorry, governor and mayor and police chief, Pelletier, Bisson, and Scott Green. So Scott Green's the governor. Bisson is missing. Have you guys heard that? Apparently Bisson is missing. I mean, they were all MIA when it happened, and they've all been ridiculous with their lack of candidness, their lack of communication. Clearly, they are trying to choke out the landowners there in the Lahaina area. Clearly, they are saying it's going to take 3 years to build a new sewage system. 3 freaking years before they can get clean water. And then the prices are just astronomical, and then people only have a set amount of time to do it. It's just nuts, the parameters that they're putting on these people that are 100% impossible. They don't want people to rebuild. They want people to give up, and they want to claim the land. It's a land grab. It's a water rights grab. That's all this is. It's so insane that this could be happening on American soil in this day and age. It's so barbaric. If this is what's happening, which it seems clear to me that this is exactly what's happening. So let me catch up with you guys. We're getting over an hour and a half. There might be 1 or 2 cases I want to touch on before we wrap up. Did you cover the update on the laundries, Gabby Petito? Civil case. I like the way you spelled civil, Mark Molina. Maybe you're doing voice to text. No, I don't know. Anyway, you know, I mentioned it. The truth is what the Petitos are after. You know, it's a civil case, but the civil case can lay the foundation for a criminal case too. It's not very likely, but it is possible. Anything's possible. The thing with lawsuits is that every lawsuit has the potential to set a new precedence. So, you know, the Petitos sued the Moab PD for like $50 million. And they either won the lawsuit or won a settlement. And good for them, because that's the only way there's going to be significant changes in law enforcement and in the training. And, you know, you got to hit them where it hurts in order for them to take it seriously. And for those laundries, that family is extremely wealthy. I don't know how many millions they have, but I know that they own at least a like juicing company. Remember, Gabby was a juicing professional, and she was like a nutritionist, and she basically worked for Brian's parents, who owned a juicing company. And then I want to say that the sister Cassie and her husband own like a repair and parts company for the juicing company or something like that. I mean, they're both involved in the juicing industry and in the parts and repairs. And it's like big, big money. I'm sure they have other investments too, but they are very well to do. You know, they bought that house in Northport, Florida, I want to say for like $7,000 because at the time Northport was literally underwater, and so all of the properties were sold dirt cheap before they could like drain the area out. So they've got that nice property that they got dirt cheap that's worth a lot more money now. And then they also own other properties. I know they owned a condominium that Gabby and Brian were living in. So, yeah, the update on them and, you know, just the information that's been on a lot of channels about that the Laundries hired the attorney, what, that Brian called them by September 2nd or earlier, even like within 2 days of Gabby was probably taken out on August 27th of 2021. So maybe he called them by the 29th, and maybe it was by September 2nd that they had already hired a criminal defense attorney in Montana or Wyoming. Um, and so they got $25,000 cash to their attorney Bertolini, who then used that as a retainer for a criminal defense attorney there in the state of Wyoming when she had not even been found yet. So they knew. And the lawsuit is specifically because they were saying things to try to get the the Laundries were saying things to try to get the Petitos' hopes up that their daughter would be found safely when they knew that they were hiring a criminal defense attorney there in that state. Like they knew what went down. You know, will the contents of those phone calls ever be revealed? Are there texts? I mean, my guess is that they might not be, but then Roberta wrote that crazy letter, the burn after reading letter that Brian didn't burn. And that family is so freaking crazy. You got to wonder, like, how much of him not burning it was because he wanted her to get caught. I mean, for a guy to do that to his fiance, he's got to hate women. And most guys that hate women hate them because of the relationship with their own mother. Not to put all the blame on the mom, because, you know, I think that that too often happens. You have to put the responsibility onto the individual. But it's misogyny. It's misogyny. Domestic violence is misogynistic. What happened with Kylie Rodney, I feel like is misogynistic. That, you know, the way it's been handled is because she's a young woman. The way the Idaho 4 case has unfolded, I think is also misogynistic, even though one of the victims is not a woman. Whoever went into that house to unalive a whole bunch of people went into a house that they knew was occupied by 5 or 6 beautiful young women. And yeah, I just want to address real quick the situation with all of the photographs of Dylan partying at Halloween and all these people saying, oh, well, that's good. She's got to get out and celebrate her youth and, you know, get on with her life. Like, no, she needs to be held accountable for what she did and didn't do the night that this happened, the morning that this happened, the day that this happened. This happened probably at 3 in the morning, give or take an hour. And let's be even more conservative. Let's say 3:30 a.m., give or take an hour. And 911 was never called by her. I honestly don't know whether it was her or Bethany that summoned the other people, as Chief Fry phrases it. They summoned other people before those other people that were summoned then summoned the appropriate authorities. Like, that's the craziest crap I've ever heard come out of law enforcement's mouth. Any law enforcement, anywhere. Like, trying to make it sound like it's a normal thing that they were summoning these people that weren't law enforcement. And then, you know, I almost wish that it was already 12 noon or 12:01 when that 911 call was placed, because they love to say that a call wasn't made until the next morning, when it was 11:58 a.m. 2 minutes before noon, 3 minutes before afternoon. Like, you really can't call that the morning. That's the middle of the day. That's nuts. All right, you guys, I'm going to sign off. I'm just seeing how late it's getting. It's almost working towards 3 o'clock, so I do need to wrap. I'm going to try to do my lives all week. I can't promise because, you know, I don't want to push myself and go nuts and then end up breaking everything. Because there's been times where I've just had a little bit of fantasy about that, but not really. I mean, I'll get through this. I've said it so many times, and I will continue to say, if these are the biggest problems that I am having in my life right now, I am so lucky. I am so lucky. So I just need to thank my lucky stars. And we all need to be grateful for what we've got. I've said the quote of Sheryl Crow before in my YouTube lives, and I will end with it today. It's not about getting what you want. It's about wanting what you've got. Words of wisdom. I think that's from her song, Soak Up the Sun, right? So I'll read a couple more as we're signing off. Kind of like Scammy getting on with her 18-year-old life. Yeah. The day after KR found. Thanks, everyone, for being so cool. Thanks, Jazz. Thank you, Mr. Mark. Thank you. And I hope you guys have a really good day. I hope that you can get some exercise, sunshine, fresh air, your veggies. I'm going to try to drink my juice just to be diligent in front of you guys. I'm so close to being done with it. And once it's warm, it ain't so good. So, although you could like put it in a soup, right? There, I'm like Popeye the Sailor Man. I should feel like $1 million for the rest of the day. And I'm serious, when you eat your veggies, you feel it immediately. Like, you really don't need to do anything else other than eat vegetables and drink water, and you will feel good right now, right here, right now. Like, it's not like a delayed gratification, it's instant gratification. So whatever you do, take really good care of yourself. Whatever you do, don't put too much pressure on yourself. Just be yourself, appreciate yourself, breathe, relax, and stay focused, and keep on fighting for justice for those who cannot fight for themselves. Peace out, sending you light and love, and don't forget to admire the amazing blue agate once again. Can you see it close enough? I put a photograph up on my community page too. Oh, and I was going to show the earrings. I'm so glad that I showed the jewelry so that I could remind us all that as soon as I hit that end button, the first person to comment is the winner of these kind of Christmassy earrings. They are just some type of metal, like a brass and red glass beads. And I just hooked them together. Like, the little teardrop things were already pre-made. I think they're probably from India or something like that. And then I put them together in little sets of 3 to make them all dangly like that. And good luck to everybody who is interested. Whoever it is that is the first person to comment, you will see that your comment is first. And then shoot me an email at justiceatooz@gmail.com so that I can send them to you right away. And I need my last 2 winners to send me emails with their addresses so I can send them. Thanks, you guys. Love and light. See you